Hey guys, today I want to show you how to get to the top of ITU Triathlon. That means how to work your way up through the ITU World Rankings and get to the top level of ITU racing, which means the WTS, the World Triathlon Series. First of all, let's start with what kind of events do we got. We got 3 levels of events. There's the top level, which is the World Triathlon Series, which we want to get into. Then there's the second level of races, which is the World Cups. And then there's the third level, which is the Continental Cups. The World Triathlon Series races, which decide who's going to be the world champion at the end of each year, get 2 races in total, and each of the races feature 55 athletes on the men's and the women's side. On the second level, the World Cups, we got a little more races over the year, about 15 in total, and each of the races feature 65 men and 65 women. And then on the lowest level of ITU racing, in the Continental Cups, we got a load of races, roughly 50 in total, and each of them features 70 men and 70 women on the start line. So what we want to do is work ourselves up through Continental Cups, through World Cups, into the World Triathlon Series. And how do we do that? First of all, in each of those races, you're going to earn ranking points for the world ranking. And those points differ from level to level. So the higher the level, the more points you will get, which means you will get much more ranking points in the World Triathlon Series than you will get in the Continental Cup. And then out of those ranking points, we are getting the world ranking. And again, this world ranking will decide who is going to get on each start list of each race. So all the races, World Triathlon Series races, World Cup races, and Continental Cup races are seeded by the world ranking. So let's get into it in a little more detail. Again, we get those 3 levels of races. And let's have a look on how many points can you actually earn in those races. So on the first level, the World Triathlon Series, WTS, you can earn either 800, 1,000 or 1,200 points. The 800 and 1,000 points are both for the winner of each regular WTS race, whereas he or she will win 800 points if it's a sprint distance race and 1,000 points if it's an Olympic distance race. And the winner of the grand final will get 1,200 points for the world ranking. And then from the winning points, points are decreased by 7.5% for each place. That means the second place finisher will get 7.5% less than the winner, and so on, so on. So as you can see, that's an exponential decrease in points, which in reverse means if you finish better, your points will increase by 7.5% as well. Then on World Cup races, you can either win 400 or 500 points as the winner. Again, 400 points if it's a sprint distance race and 500 points if it's an Olympic distance race. And in Continental Cups, you can earn 240 or 300 points if you win the race. I gotta add to that in the total ranking, you can only include a total of maximum 3 Continental Cup events, and also some of the Continental Cups are counted less. For example, if you win an Oceania Cup, you will get a little bit less points than if you would win a European Cup. So let's see how the points decrease. I got the 3 levels here next to each other. So we will compare Olympic distance races now as an example. The winner in a WTS race will get 1,000 points. And then it will decrease 7.5% per spot, which means the 10th place finisher in a WTS race will get roughly 500 points. I rounded those numbers to get a better idea of how it actually works and to simplify it. And so the 10th place of a WTS race is getting almost the same amount of points as the winner of a World Cup. So you could say 10th place WTS is the same worth as World Cup win. And then, of course, the points will keep on decreasing by 7.5%. And then we are at about 300 points for the 15th place finisher in the WTS, which is similar to the 7th place finisher in a World Cup race. He will also get roughly 300 points, which is also the same as the winner gets in a Continental Cup race. And if we keep on going, we will get again roughly the same amount of points, 100 points for the 30th of the WTS race, or the 20th of a World Cup race, or the 15th of a Continental Cup race. As you can see, the the 30th of a WTS race only gets 1/10 of the points of the winner of the same race. That fast decrease is due to that exponential factor. So let's see how the levels actually compare, because on that point list, the points that are in one row don't really compare to each other. So again, we're starting with 1,000 points for WTS winner and 500 points for a 10th place WTS finisher, which is pretty fair to say is about the same level if you win a World Cup race. That makes more or less sense. But then we're starting to get some difference. So for the 50th place of a WTS race, you're getting 300 points. But I gotta say that the 50th place of a WTS race is about the same worth as a podium finish in a World Cup race. That's about the same level, and no Continental Cup is on that level at all. Then if we go on, we got the 30th place finisher in the WTS. He will get about 100 points. A 30th place in the WTS roughly equals a 10th place finish in a World Cup. And if we take the points for a 10th place finish in the World Cup, we will get to 250 points. And a 10th place finish World Cup is also roughly the same level as if you would win a Continental Cup. Although I gotta say that in Continental Cups there's a lot of variation, so you can have rather good Continental Cups where it's actually like that the winner is almost the same level as a top 10 finisher in the World Cup. But then there's some Continental Cups that are just nowhere near that level. So as you can see, if you compare the reality to the actual points you get, you see if you're not on the very top of each level, just for getting points, it's better to go to the lower level and have a good result there. So for example, if you're able to win a Continental Cup, stay there, get the 300 points, instead of finishing 10th in a World Cup race and just get 250 points. Or especially don't go to the WTS and get 30th, which is about the same level as winning a Continental Cup, but still you only get 1/3 of the points that you would earn for the win of the Continental Cup. That is of course just regarding earning the points for the world ranking. Of course, a WTS race is a race of much higher quality, so you might still want to go there to get the experience and get less points. So let's see what you can get with those actual points. How does the world ranking work? So for the world ranking, they will count your 6 best events of the last year, so the last 52 weeks. And then in addition to that, they will also count the 6 best races of the 52 weeks before that. So from 1 year ago to 2 years ago. But those races are less important, so they're only counted by 1/3 of the actual points. Let's go through some examples. Let's have a look at the current world champion, Mario Mola from Spain, and he's also the first of the world ranking. Let's go through his results. For simplicity, I will just include the 6 best races of the last 52 weeks and not those 52 weeks before that, because it would be a lot of data, and who wants to look at a lot of data? So Mario's best results of the last 52 weeks was 1, 2, 3 WTS wins, which each mean 1,000 points, and then 1 second, 1/3, and 1 7th place result also at the WTS. In total, with all the 12 races included, he got 6,700 points. Let's go through the next example. Maybe you know that guy. It's me. So I'm roughly 60th at the moment in the world ranking. My 6 best results are a 3rd place finish at a World Cup, a 11th place finish at the World Cup, then I got 2 podium finishes at Continental Cups, and a 15th and a 16th place at World Cups as well. So let's just compare the best result against Mario. For my 3rd place finish at the World Cup, I got roughly 400 points. And as you can see, Mario did get 1,000 points just for one of those WTS wins. But of course, he got it 3 times, so he got 3,000 points right there. Also, the 60th place in the world ranking makes it about sure that you can actually enter a WTS race. So if you want to get to a WTS race, you want to get in the top 60 of the world ranking. I'll get into that in a minute. So let's just look at another example. I just picked the 150th of the world ranking, which is about the ranking you want to get if you want to enter a World Cup race. So usually you have to be amongst the top 150 to get to a World Cup race. And the guy currently in 150th place, He got 2 podium finishes at Continental Cups, which earned him around 200 points, and then a 16th place at a World Cup race, and another 10th place at a Continental Cup race. As you can see, there's 2 results missing. That just means he only did 4 ITU races in the last 52 weeks. So he could have potentially earned more points in the last 52 weeks if he just would have done more races. But sometimes you're injured or you're ill or your federation doesn't want you to go to races, and then you may have less than 6 races in that period. What can we do with the position we earned on the world ranking? So here I got the top 15 of the world ranking. We'll just use them for simplicity so we don't have too many names. So as I said in the beginning, we want to get into a World Triathlon Series race. As you might remember, there are 55 spots on the start list of each World Triathlon Series race. For making it simple, we'll just assume there's only 10 spots on the start list. So we'll have a pretty small field in our model. And then, who's going to get on the start list? So let's go through the world ranking. Mario Mola, he decides he wants to race that particular race. So he's number 1 on the world ranking. He gets on the start list for that race. Number 2 of the world ranking, Jonathan Brownlee. He's injured at the moment, so he can't race the race. He doesn't want to enter. He doesn't get on the start list, of course. Then the next one, Christian Blumenfeld from Norway. He wants to race that race. He's going to get on the start list. He's number 2 on the start list because Jonathan Brownlee doesn't want to race. Then we're going on. Richard Murray wants to race the race. Fernando Alazar, he wants to race the race. Javi Gomez, he's doing some middle distance or long distance race at the moment, so he doesn't want to race that WTS race. Then we're at number 7 of the world ranking, Pierre Lecor from France. He's actually not allowed by his federation to go because he didn't fulfill some rule of them, so he's not going to race the race. Then number 8 is the next one, Henry Schoolman. He wants to race, gets on the start list. Then number 9, Ryan Sissons wants to race, gets on the start list. Also does Vincent Louis from France, Jake Birthwhistle, Andreas Schilling. And then we'll have Thomas Bishop. He's preparing for another race. He won't race. And also number 14, Rafael Montoya. He's not allowed by his federation to go, so he won't race as well. So the next one and the last one on the start list will be Vicente Hernandez from Spain. And he's closing the start list. So as you can see, Vicente Hernandez, as the 15th of the world ranking, he gets onto our start list of 10 just because there's 5 guys not wanting to race or not able to race. And that's quite common. You will usually never have everybody racing. But just to make mathematically sure that you will get on the start list, you will have to be top 10 in the world ranking to get in that start list of 10. And as it's actually 55 athletes on the start list of each WTS race, you will have to be top 55 to make mathematically sure that you will be able to race every race. But as there's always athletes that don't want to race or can't race, you will probably be fine if you're top 60 or maybe even top 70 in the world ranking. So that's why I, for example, on the 60th spot of the world ranking, would be able to race every World Triathlon Series race at the moment if my federation would submit me to the race. And then on the World Cups with those 65 athletes, and of course the best athletes, they usually don't want to race in the World Cup races. They just go to the WTS races. So that means a lot of the guys on the top of the world ranking don't want to enter those races. So usually you're fine if you're amongst the top 150 of the world ranking if you want to enter a World Cup race. And then on Continental Cups, there's 70 athletes in the races. And that means you basically don't need any points usually to get in those races. So anyone can basically join the Continental Cups. So what do you want to do if you're new in triathlon and want to get to the top and want to go to the WTS series? Your federation has to enter you to a Continental Cup first. Then you will have to earn some points going through the Continental Cups, earn those ranking points for the world ranking, work yourself up the world ranking, and then at some point get to the start list of a World Cup race. And then again, you can earn more points in the World Cup races because there's more points on the line than in Continental Cups. And you will work your way up even more in the world ranking. And then again, you can get on the start list of one of those World Triathlon Series races. Usually I would say that whole journey will take you at least 4 years if you're very talented and if everything goes by plan. So there you have it. Now you know how to get to the top of ITU racing. If you got any questions, leave them down in the comments and make sure to subscribe to my channel to get even more of those videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.